Most weight loss plans are one size fits all, not taking into account each person's individual needs. Noom is here to change that. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain. But it also takes into account your unique biological factors, which also affect weight loss success. The program helps you understand the science behind your eating choices and why you have cravings. Everyone's journey is different, so your daily lessons are personalized to you and your goals. One of the great things about Noom is that it's nourishing instead of restrictive. They focus on progress instead of perfection. You don't have to give up carbs, or anything for that matter. Have cravings? Food FOMO? Noom can help you lose weight while still enjoying your favorite foods. To date, Noom has helped more than 5.2 million people lose weight. Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com. That's Noom.com.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories. It's Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
With us today is Michael Goodwin, a Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist for the New York Post, and he's the best. Well, Michael, 7 days, 8 days to the election, where the heck are we?
Well, that's the $64,000 question, isn't it?
No, absolutely not. It's a $64 trillion question by now.
I stand corrected. You're right about that. Big events involved. Consequences will be enormous, no matter which way it goes. Look, I think the polls continue to show Donald Trump with a very small lead. If the polls are correct and the election finishes that way, he would win the majority, if not all, of the battleground states and more than enough electoral college votes to win. But as you know, with a week or so left, I mean, anything can happen. There can be a mistake. There can be an error. The polls could be just wrong. So it's not over yet by a long shot, and I think it's going to come down to that last hour with both campaigns trying to turn out voters before the polls close.
Today, Michael Goodwin, Michael Bloomberg decided to give another $50 million to Harris. Did he get that upset at the Al Smith dinner?
You know, it's interesting because Harris doesn't lack for money. She's had over $1 billion, and you see her ads everywhere, even in New York. So I'm not sure what more money she would need. I mean, maybe it's to pay people on the ground, or as they used to say, walking around money. But look, if he wants to give it away, I've got some better ideas for him.
Well, Congressman King was there at the Al Smith dinner, too. And what do you think, Congressman?
To me, it's sort of a personal thing between Michael Bloomberg and Donald Trump. But, Michael, I've been following your columns lately. And, you know, politicians, I'm one of them myself. You know, you get in the final days of a campaign, things are said. But to me, the Democrats have gone over the line. I mean, they are, whether they know it or not, and they should know it, encouraging violence. I mean, if you say that someone is a Hitler, someone's a dictator, someone's a fascist, you are just lighting, the match. And there's someone out there who's going to follow up on that. And they should know that. We've seen 2 attempts against Trump already. And to me, it's totally irresponsible what they're doing. Plus, it's a lie.
Yeah, look, I mean, the whole idea that Donald Trump is Hitler, I mean, if you think of yourself as, we're talking here, we know this is ridiculous. But if you're somebody on the edge and you have trouble separating reality from what you hear from rhetoric, that's the kind of thing, well, gee, Hitler was the worst person who ever lived. He killed 6 million Jews and started a war that killed roughly 50 million people. I better stop that right now. I mean, that's the kind of thing that can happen with this overheated rhetoric. And, you know, Pete, I think that it is so over the top that it almost falls from its own weight to those of us who are not on the edge, because it's so stupid. I mean, Hillary Clinton even talks about how last night's rally was going to be a reenactment of the Bund rally in Madison Square Garden in 1939. Now, it's not even the same building. It's 85 years later, and she says it's a reenactment. I mean, this is insane.
Oh, so, Michael, during that time, there were so many pro-Jewish, anti-Nazi rallies being held also in the Garden, including in the 1930s and 1940. And there's also the tremendous rally at the Garden held between JFK and Marilyn Monroe. And Bill Clinton accepted the presidential nomination in Madison Square Garden.
That's right. I mean, people on Twitter were doing this thing. Oh, here's Jimmy Carter at his Nazi rally at Madison Square Garden, and here's Bill Clinton at his. I mean, of course. So where do these people get these ideas that somehow this is making voters rethink their choices? I mean, that to me is the ultimate test here. Is this all you have? Can't you offer people any hope, any good ideas? Is it just fear-mongering? Is it just negative on the other side? You know, I was at the Garden last night. I didn't see any Nazis.
I was there, too. I agree with you.
I was there, too.
Yeah.
And Rita is next to me, and she was there, too.
I was, too. But, you know, it's amazing, Michael, how they have portrayed it. It really is stunning.
Well, you know, I made a comment to the campaign this morning, Michael, that they should have double-checked what some of the speakers were saying before they were allowed on.
Yeah, look, I think Dr. Phil went too long. I mean, the comedian wasn't funny, and he was offensive. Although
and the Puerto Rican comment was very bad.
Problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, but look, I think overall this is a wild success for Donald Trump, and I think what it did is it revealed that, to me anyway, a very positive message, one that is bringing in all kinds of people, that the Republican tent really is getting bigger, and that Donald Trump himself, I think, is a somewhat different person than we think we know. I believe the assassination attempt, the one that he narrowly escaped, I think has had some impact on him. But it really struck me last night with Elon Musk and RFK Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard and the whole lineup of people, Tucker Carlson.
He was more inclusive.
Exactly. And I think also this is a sign of, you know, grooming the next generation, getting ready to pass the torch. I mean, obviously that's, you know, not for today, and if he wins, it won't happen immediately. But there is a sense that there is a movement here. It's not just a personality. It's a movement infused by Donald Trump, but it's clearly bigger than him. And that, I think, was a really important, to me, development that I see sort of happening in front of. This is the new Republican Party. This is not the Republican Party of the Bushes, Mitt Romney.
Well, we're not fighting the Democratic Party of the old age either. This Democratic Party is not the same.
Well, the Democratic Party is getting smaller. The Republican Party is getting larger.
That's right. And the Democrats have gone so far left that a lot of those people who are now planning to vote for Donald Trump, many of them are Democrats or former Democrats. Can
you imagine who was it? Governor Watts suggested AOC for Speaker?
Go right ahead.
He was serious.
Right? Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. But that, let's face it, John, that is where the energy is in the Democratic Party. I mean, look at Joe Biden was never a progressive in his entire career until he became president and effectively turned the party over to the far left. Chuck Schumer, same thing. Nancy Pelosi, same thing. They managed to keep the left under the tent, but they did it by letting the left drive the car, to mix my metaphors, because the left got almost everything it wanted out of Biden, which is why people are migrating out of that party. People with common sense say, this has gone too far. This is too
Michael,
crazy.
We're almost out of time, and Rita wants to say a few things. And what I said I interviewed President Trump, and me and Rita, last Thursday, Friday, I don't remember. And I said to him, when a political appointee orders the Border Patrol to let in 13,000 murderers, is that considered treason?
It's a very good question. When
Rita?
they knew what
You
they
know,
were
Michael,
doing.
too, before we let you go, did you see the new news that now Eric Adams, speaking of which, about migrants, is sending a whole bunch of folks back to Texas? He literally is flying some back today and also putting on buses. What do you make of that, Michael?
It's cheaper than $300 a day rooms.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I think maybe he got a little religion. Look, Eric Adams, I think, screwed up this whole situation big time. This entire period, he should have taken this position in the beginning. He should have joined with the Republican governors. Instead, by contesting what they were doing and by telling President Biden all he wanted was money. He didn't care. Sanctuary city, we're going to take the best care. He should have said no in the first place. He would have saved himself and the city a lot of trouble. So
Absolutely. Well, Michael Goodwin, thank you. We love having you on, Michael. Always great to have you here, and we'll talk with you soon, Michael.
Thank you,
All
Michael.
right, my pleasure.
Thank you, Mike.
all.